This is the Central University. Here, we move a little differently. We are the change makers, the innovators. We are solving the problems of the 21st century. We create, we lead, we inspire. Beginning your journey at Central University is opening your chapter to success. Here, we are a family that works together to make the change today for a better Sierra Leone and world tomorrow. Here is a home for you. Central University, a place where careers begin.
My family, on a good evening. I hope say on a day. I hope so they do well. I hope say the weather is treating you guys right wherever you find yourself. And as we can see, don't answer today again for talk about Salone issues. The issues never finishes. As a matter of fact, the issues just keep compounding. I hope so when I get to my H2O with tuna, as myself get me H2O for make sure say we fluid with system them. Also, I may happen for find myself now minus 40 today. Can you imagine? That is cold, bone cold, minus 40. But guess what? We live, we learn, we survive. Today with me, I get the CEO. I will make it tell family I do as we get a very packed show, and we no want for wisdom at all.
Family Monado.
Okay, so first off, all see beside the petrol increase, the fuel wahala, you know they done right. We talked about it some time ago. They kind of like they got us though because they decrease and small, and we all celebrated that because it showed that they were listening, right? Especially when the Minister of Information came. And also the president can begin to talk, say how Ingi, the businesses them and the petrol dealers them, they give them money and this, that. And, some of us were here saying, okay, how does that trickle down to the average man? How does that benefit the average man? If you give the dealership and the petrol dealer, how does that benefit? Because they are not seeing it at the pump. And then about a few weeks later, then decrease the price then. But now we don't see an augmentation of price when, and I'll always say this, it's happening everywhere, but sometimes, governments them they get systems them in place for take out some of the burden, some of the load and the people them. But in Sierra Leone, I don't think that we have system and procedures that guard against these type of things, okay, that help to soften the burden on the people. I will just read for another press release, quick one, we come out na do, the press release we come out na do, basically say that, the maximum pump price don't increase na the country. If producer I can make this a little bit big for me, that way I can able read them properly for una. I think say product pump as follows. I think say the petrol thank you very much, 21.5 thousand, diesel 21.5 thousand, kerosene 21.5 thousand, fuel oil 21.5 thousand. And again, please, I am serious about this. This is coming from a very, very naive place. Please, I always ask, what do you make petrol, diesel, and kerosene for over the same price? Why are they the same price? Their production is, I keep saying their production is same, not the same. Their consumption is not the same. Their whatever is their refinery is not the same. Why is it that every time the prices are consistent across board? So if I run a diesel motor car, I know that the diesel price at the pump is not going to be the same as the gas price at the pump. That much I know, but Sierra Leone, the prices, they're always consistent. So I want to know. So again, this one are effective since Thursday today now. Yeah, today Friday the 3rd, which means since yesterday, Thursday, the NM price they also come into effect. I feel really bad for the Okada people there. I feel really bad for the drivers there. I feel bad for even the layman. I know they talk about the minister, they then get quotas them, then get I know they talk about the MDs there, they all get quotas them. I all get tickets the way they go home for free. So at the end of the day, the burden is not on these people. The burden is on the average Sierra Leonean, who I hope earns an applaudable living, an earnest living, and then have to go to the pump, or the one they wait sometimes and get small and get coda, or somebody they run the motor car for them. It's all around hard. It's all around sad. It's all around bad. At this point, I will say I will plead with government for making ease the burden. But guess what? I know that my voice, my plea is going to fall on deaf ears. It's not worth it. I'm just going to say, let us find a way to manage. And the bad thing about this is that when the economy gets so tough, when the economy gets so pressurized, guess what thing they happen? A lot of looting increases in a nation. When they even yourself in a first world country, where you see car theft begin rampant and breakages, then this begin rampant. Check the economy, check the inflation rate. It's an indication these things are correlated, and already within a situation where it is not good, and somehow we are making it unbearable. I will pass on to the CEO. What do you get to say?
Well, I think say this one policy now a long-term policy effect to the field now. African countries then get to refine them around the world. We get plenty refined in Africa, but we know they refine the fuel in South Africa. So what's in the happen is that they are fuel for our white man country, white man they go refine and out and back to it and sell on 2 or 3 times the price. Dollar effect. Dollar they affect everything at the world now right now. Where dollar they go up, everything they go up. So that one day people are not getting no choice but for follow up with them. And the concern where you get concern in kerosene, diesel, and petrol, where I go Salone, they don't use kerosene like I use on Tradi. Tradi, say the majority of the use for kerosene, I mean lamp. Now, most of them get that Chinese light when they use it as solar system or batteries and stuff. So the use for kerosene on the go. At Namic now, the people, they buy them too much. So kerosene actually not too much of a concern right now. Say the diesel and petrol, majority of the cars are petrol in the use. Now few diesel machines that I see. So I think say they try for buckle up then 2 area the kerosene the diesel for able pull in your money. At time they ace the price for meet me to the petrol because majority of them are petrol in the buy. Most of them are seeing a Salone now more of petrol diesel machines them and few diesel. And like I said, kerosene in use and in consumption at Salone is very, very limited. So, but in terms of the price, obviously, I mean, they did trust me. Mona, I'm not going to go back 21. First of all, then the high down force because they want for ace the price. Immediately 18 leons, the ace up to 21 leons. So, what the government said for left and 18 leons, so then the high down. So now they tell you now, say, well, if you want to buy them, now prices or you go for Njebu. So the only person we mean the sell now one guy we then call Malado. Now enforce begin pull them for sale. In fact, now whether you know now salary may happen. Say sometimes we say we get for cost on contact and call or the wall we at for go buy them. They line me long, then it's they sell them by the give limited number of liter. So by the time they come out to look after I don't want half of the feel like come buy already. And
Oh boy.
They say no me for so later then can't tell us so a day government can say no a day but the price of our is. So then they buffet the price and then for instance go back to that 21,000 and then they release them. They release them now. After a couple of days back, the dollar, no tap, the dollar, now what's happening, no, the price on the go back, come back to 18. 18, I think it was 18 or 1950. Because they pull 1 leon 50 cents off I talk about the new leons, 1 leon 50 cents off the price. So now bump back to back. So now instead of 21, I don't put instead of another 5 leons. So you don't go from 20, and I mean, 21.5 now. So I mean 5 cents. So sorry, 50 cents. I can't tell this new money. So they put another add now another 50 cents to the 21 leon. So I don't want 21 leon 50 cents now for liter. So you don't go beyond waiting. I mean the end. Even so frustrating because that was during the holiday season. People then come for kind of enjoy petrol inside the city. And trust me, it been crazy. But the effect you on side and you this price. Family go for suffer no more. And most suffer is the only way they can because everything's around petrol and saloon, everything. So commodities are waiting for buy in the market now. Petrol price they go for sell and buy. So this is a sad
Yeah,
situation about for do.
indeed. I remember I really recall when you fit on I try for get in touch with you and you're like, yeah, for each now one for fem petrol and two. so yeah, I recall that. And many friends of mine, they like, we don't manage buy the ticket. In fact, we don't reach first now. You begin now for the can crash it, for find the petrol now, for run the generator, for run the motor car even for go from point one to point A. I mean, it's just all around ridiculous and something drastic needs to be done about it. Speaking of something drastic needs to be done about it, let us go now to, I go ask we technical team make them play a video where we see recently, this was a rumor that been going around circulating for a while now, and with Salone sometimes, I'm saying sometimes because it's not always the case. Where you smell the smoke, know that there is fire coming behind. Okay, I sincerely hope that they carry through. And for me, not because of the sitting party in power. This has nothing to do with President Bio. Let me be upfront and say this. Even though it would happen, I hope it might happen during his reign. Now it's like what? Excuse me, about waiting 5 months or so, 4 months and something left, something like that. At least the foundation would have been laid. And I sincerely hope that if he happens to stay on, he continues. If someone else happens to take on, the baton from there, they continue this because housing in Sierra Leone, not crisis. We need low-cost housing, we need affordable housing, we need modern housing, we need planned housing in Sierra Leone. We need it like yesterday. So for me, this is not a welcome news. This for me is what I see as development. However, I always say, the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. Now the details, now we they get for no, if this get for become an albatross, if this get for canton rope now we neck, or if there's something that's long lasting, everybody or whosoever the average man will benefit from it and will get to a place where we're like, okay, Sierra Leone can now boast of this modern, nicely designed structures. Mind you, these people have done this in the Gambia, they've done it in Nigeria, they are very well known. Now, an all African team, so not of Osina with man in the camp, whatever. These are civil engineers, well trained architecturists, well trained planners, and what have you. Electricians, you name it, they have all the expertise in there. Civil engineers, they know their stuff, okay? They are what they are sought from the research when we don't do. However, the thing now is that what are the details? What are the details? When are that thing then in Salone no they ever release? Just like I would say now, the details about the airport is very scanty. Forget what newspaper and that thing and call the fine details, safe. We not see how we koro here in it. And that is just the honest truth. Okay? So this why I so safe. We need to understand the details. May not be for saying I be great guy picking. I never can suffer for this why I so safe. That is the honest truth. As much as it is lovely, as much as it is commendable. Now, so when people in they build something or when people they acquire something, first of all, then they put not a poster, then they put a big signboard where all the details, them aside for fan information, all the rights. Now the area, first of all, even before them begin develop the area, at least a good 6 months to a year, they'll make sure they provide all of those details. So you have a website to go, you have a place to ask questions, the community, excuse me guys, the community have a place to ask questions. It is open, it is transparent. There is nothing in hiding. If there is an objection, they will work to make sure they iron out their differences. But when you do that in Sierra Leone, But when you attempt to do that, then say you not like government, then say you are not patriotic, then say you get bad at. We have to cultivate a culture of agreeing to ask questions and for responding to questions. Anyways, I did talk too much.
Hi guys, here I am
What do you get
at the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, and the die is cast. So I'll let the man himself who made all this happen say something.
Well, we started a long journey, and today we are here, and there is no turning back. So there is reality on the ground. 5,000 affordable homes for Sierra Leoneans. The die is cast.
Great. So this is the agreement. We've signed it, and it's done deal. We're going to hit the ground right away. We're heading to John Obey. Thank you. Hi, my fellow Sierra Leoneans. I've just landed this week in Lungi and ready to start tough Sierra Leone. And you're going to have a tough micro city here. All the deal is done. And I am here, just landed to confirm that what you have been seeing in Gambia and Nigeria has arrived in Sierra Leone. So you'll be seeing Tough City started, which will be a micro city. Like what you can see on your screen now, this is in the Gambia, which is Tough City with all these paved roads, beautiful houses, you know, nicely done, and it will soon be in Sierra Leone. This week it will be officially confirmed, and that's why I am here. But this is what you're going to have, or even better. We've done it in Nigeria with the Riftaf Golf Estate, and then we've done it now in Gambia with a city which is bigger than Banjul, as you can see now. You know, very modern, smart, green, you know, nicely done, and all built by Africans. We have an African team. So it's a Pan-African company with all what you can see here. Isn't this beautiful to have it in Sierra Leone? So if you are interested, please send an email to the number, to the email.
You know, Tough City Sierra Leone, a Pan-African company, like I say, now an all-African company. This not a wait man, not a money they come out sometimes. This now the sweat and blood of African, I should say, millionaires, billionaires, you know, business people that are into, you know, turning over money, flipping over their money, looking to whatever, looking for investment, looking where to put their money, there where their money can turn over for them. And that is an applaudable thing, because that's what we want. We want to know that our people are doing, our people are in control, and they are making it worth it for our people. But like I say, the devil is in the details. Remember before the SLPP took on power, remember a similar idea like this. I think it was at Toke. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's gonna be a similar idea like this why Asuna Toke that was under the then Anes by Kuruma government, and the person who been supposed to spearhead that project there after she came actually to do the special advisory on the Ebola. It was the current mayor, his lordship Yvonne Akisoya. She was the one that was supposed to actually spearhead that project. I remember clearly it was supposed to be a city like this, but that one it didn't get hotel included, this restaurants, this, that, all that they included. I remember clearly. I not just remember no more the name of that project. I not remember the name of that project, but I knew that there was something similar like this. Now 5,000 housing. Before I pass them over to the CEO, some of the questions, some of the things when we go on from 5,000 housing seems a lot, but for the population size of Sierra Leone right now, that's not a lot. But who that them go get access to? I know say when I don't say make we send email, and trust me, we go send we email them. We they send now. Who not way anymore. We go send that. But as to whether we will have the response, or as to whether certain people a quota a particular quota has been allotted to certain people already. Yeah. That's why the devil is in the details. That's why transparency is important. That's why our openness is very, very important. I would like to see a situation where the average Sierra Leonean, where some say don't work, some say a man we don't work, maybe a civil servant we don't work all in life for 30, 40 years and cannot afford something, that this is something that at least they will be able to afford, marketed price in such a way that they, after they've put all their savings aside, they can call something, like you say, a smart housing, right? A climate smart housing. They can call it their own, and that name, it's not a name association project. Now uda you sabi, uda you know, now so you they take get them. Let us be going, because I am sure we shall talk about this again. See you, what you get for say.
Well, I follow. I don't follow Mr. Njai for a long time. For me, I go build a city in Nigeria and Gambia. So Mr. Njai work. But make the way they talk at the smile, because I know. uh, First of all, communication important. This SFP government, I mean, if I talk to some of my brothers inside the administration, I tell them, say, most of them get problem. When I get problem because when our way of communication is very, 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 very poor. Nobody trust una because even when I do something good, not a lie. Not a problem. Even when I do something good for praise una for tap una, so don't tell it today. Oh, una still lie back una. First of all, this all the top project the top was so they don't count if una government run project on a private sector business. This now the first point. Second point, they go they talk to. If they can build 5,000 home, you don't see the home the way this man they build. Not to poor man home, not to touch house where they build. So this guy they build a modern home where most majority people in Salone will afford. Now people in overseas go by the OCR. Okay. The thing that they therefore include into now modern homestead, not for an average family in a salon where they go now abacha for good sale.
This not a low-cost housing project. Let me just say, not a low-cost housing project.
This is a smart house where you with more than things them into a way you get for make sure say you, and then you know if you get for be like a mortgage or you get for buy them upfront. A lot of details were not put out to people if you understand. Secondly, with all this good idea, no matter how you look at them, for building 5,000 home inside Salone are a big boost, because most of what overseas you know how much they spend for bill host, we pay ETT money. So if we get an affordable one, we will pay whether mortgage or whatever. Now a big blessing. But now me on concern, they say they will get this land. People that don't already get land at that area there. Where Ministry of Lands, we don't give them documents in and get this place here. Then turn around and they can say because they don't give so other investor, Salone, we see what they flex in invest that what the investor they don't talk to open Nayani. Most of the time they get closer to election. People don't be like hosting now, say make them go for broke some people hosting. They get concerned and say, hey, hold on. Then now they can go so we can get a foreign person, which we understand is not to Salone person they be like. Now a foreign company they can take them and therefore do profit, which is fine. But why they can work with your home then now we don't already get acquired land in this area now. Now owner says with the paper. Ministry of Lands now give we do conveyance and give you and say now you own this land. Now owner can just can't point to us, okay, how many thousands of acres now, yeah? How many hundreds of thousands? So we are Mr. Njana, you get them. Go ahead and do them. You know the market's the place, so you not differentiate outside legal and illegal. You know, some people they can acquire land illegally, but some people then come out with them, show their concern, say no, we look at documents and say give you it's fully legal. They will not have a cancer, they can't be one thing. So the government for them, first of all, before Mr. Njai for Kana Salone, this is not what they for them can explain to people in detail. Not to when they talk about 4 months to elections, so this might just pop up not from nowhere. Oh, they can't be smart home.
Because Sierra Leone get a communications department, then get a ministry of communication, then get a ministry of development by housing and development. In my line of work, for something this big, it takes about at least 6 months of strategic communication.
Yeah.
Very tailored, very precise strategic communication. It also takes, how you call them, social media publication, social media campaign.
Exactly.
It takes, interviews. Like there is a way you plan it. You get a critical path where you get to follow. You get a list of activities then where you get to achieve even before the man make landing in Sierra Leone.
In fact, the funny thing is, plenty people are on Yagi bodies from Mr. Njai instead of anybody else, before any Sierra Leonean. The Ghana kind of makes it how the difference between a foreign person and we young person. The guy from Elan now he puts in phone on live. They talk about time. They explain to we like even at the place if you watch how they do among the ministers, they turn in phone live. They explain to people which process they not already do and what they try for do, step by step. This is what they call communication, transparency, and accountability. Because it can be transparency. Okay, now the non people, I don't just land a Lungi airport. When I still starting up, now Lungi this. Okay, look at the port. So this is what we expect. Not to say, if I state, we know what's in. What's that more? Because the reality is that now we the vote. We go to the women now, like we say, we election, they come back, then they cancel again. Now we buy the card and back. Now they buy the voting card.
No, this is what you call key messaging. So, right? This is what you call key messaging in communication. This man has done this enough to know the importance of key messaging. Exactly. What he did right there was key messaging. Okay? He know in audience. He has studied his audience. And now he's doing a communication approach. Okay? And he's delivering key messaging to his audience, which the government of Sierra Leone failed to do. I don't understand when they say communication. And that make I know they point finger but nobody na ya. So when they use the word communications, not to sabi talk, there is a whole study behind it.
It's a cause
principles behind it. Me na ya, so
it's a cause that you do.
Communicator. Okay, it's something I have practiced for over 10 years. I know the ins and outs of proper communication. I know the various levels, the various aspects, the various fields, the various discipline them within communication. This is something that even before this mania solan Afrita, Unafo don't get a dedicated website at least 3 months before landing, where all the information, where they host all the vital and key informations them. But when we talk, when I think say, because you sit down over yonder, you did da. But listen, you might not want us to be part of you. But when we speak, at least listen to our experiences, listen to our learned expertise, and learn to implement them.
How? But the question, if I don't know, they don't say no, they don't want to be part of us. But 95% of the world in the world, 95% of what is within the one Salone from here, the ideas in the common from here, then they come for us, now they can sell the ideas, then they can. So at the end of it, we don't go by that. What's the code they say? Most of the people when they go for cancel us and either foreign people or diasporas there, because at the end of the day, 5,000 homes, a modern home, not to for that money sell on Abacha State. That'll be fair. Nope. Not be real. Not to that money sell on Abacha State. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the woman is for pay mortgage or for buy those cash. So then get the money, so not get them. So then just one grab the money, go eat and call it don't sleep. Pay money for eat and call it don't sleep. So then can't we talk about so nothing it costs a lot. We'll not get the system in our Salone. We say like overseas your way and average person go buy a home, we not get better job. You will pay that mortgage day. The system they will know if you not pay the mortgage and get where it will get the money back and all loss. We'll not reach that side, they're far from that. So at this point, this is a few one that would besides some few companies and a few one is who they can't start the mortgage system in Sierra Leone. So it takes a lot of process. But you got to take money for building a city not to become money. We talk about a mini city of its own. And that area they talk about so John Obi, if I pass the same peninsula, any side pass you see Poland, you see pillars now. Pillars all over that place, they don't sell all. So the question is, would they selling land here? Would they get, because some places people get for complaint.
So the question is,
I don't get the money back.
The question is, Me and you know for say these lands have been given away to a lot of people unless we don't know about. Sometimes there is some forest in John Obi we don't know about. Maybe there is an unclaimed and untouched. Me, I can let for talk both sides. Maybe there
Then
is an
let me pay
untapped
some
and
there.
untouched forest where they need for where they go get for can clear. When a done there, they don't plan, they don't put on the
No,
what in the LCD or
this
DLC
not
or
a
whatever
flat
they
land
can
where they
call
by the
them.
road.
They don't map them. They don't put on
This
there.
not a flat land where they by the road. You can land where I see. The point is that the John Obi, if you realize say the fisheries they want for make, couldn't say for the Chinese and anybody water, they may get for pay some people and say they pay them off for that force. And this so this now a difference that we're not far from there. So, but again, let's say get a call also.
Make I take this caller here, so make I take this caller here because no one waste them. Caller, waiting your name and you say the call from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Okay, let's try this one last time. Hello, caller. Caller, you there hearing me? Okay, the caller is still there for sure. It's just that they are not projecting through. Hello, caller. Okay, we lost the call. That's good. Make we continue because I think this is one subject matter that we are going to revisit. Una see like what I tell una last week, say that airport we not done it to therefore come back. Now so this one year so back, we not done it. We get for come back. So why waste time? Man something we get for can eat come back. Eh? You not done it. The rest still left. The plaza still there. Therefore can eat back. Some more left and a corner for us. Now we want to go to before I sit down inside this show so proper about waiting they go on today, the title of the show today, NGC at the Crossroads. I want to touch on one last thing and then at the unfortunate incident where happened at Bo. Many of you might not be aware, but because again, me working at the international development stream as well, it is actually International Development Week. International Development Week, we mean for say there are two different goals within the international development world that is looked at, celebrated upon, revised, tweaked, whatever. So right now we get the Millennium Development Goal, right? So now all been there, but the Millennium Development Goal, you get different pillars them, and then as at current, waiting now the real focus right now the Sustainable Development Goal. We get 17 different pillars them. Under them 17 different pillars, then they then get sub pillars them. Right, so International Development Week is being celebrated, and I guess the First Lady and the First Gentleman of the Republic somehow thought it fits that, then we'll go do something about with the pad distribution. And one thing I actually have to ask for this wire so is that the last time where the pad distribution may happen, I just want to know, please, and I'm not being sarcastic here, I'm being very honest because I really, really want answers, okay? The last pad where them been distribute, is it that a last the picking then say this stem? So now this stem now, since they don't distribute that last pad, it was enough to cover their cycles, this entire term right up to this term now when they can distribute this new one. I'll go on for no, if that's what it is. The second thing where I go on for no is the fact that, okay, tragedy happens all the time, okay? Tragedy happens all the time. The people where they talk about that, this na blood sacrifice, this na blood, like, honestly, nonsense. That's what I have to say, nonsense, okay? When Michael Jackson get in accident with the Pepsi, where been they do the Pepsi commercial. So now somebody now him go with where been they try for sucking blood Michael Jackson. These things happen. When the UPS or whatever, when they failed, then he get something at the US when it collapsed or something happened. Now somebody now him they try for play witch. I mean, we don't suicide things, then they happen, this, that, you know what? And if it is the case, let it be to the person and their maker, who is God. But waiting missing ayaso is that maybe a poorly developed structure, either one, or an unmaintained structure, two, right? Either the load bearing, the amount of pikina we been leading in day, and they're not able to take the load. And so load bearing caused the team for collapse. We don't see where big, mighty structures then they collapse, where people then they die. Now other countries then, we don't see that. So when it happens in Sierra Leone, we should not always ascribe it to witch soaking blood, sacrifice, all these little things. Let us be rational in our thinking sometimes. Yeah, where we present with case, make we be very rational in we thinking. So this thing collapsed, the thing cave, and obviously the picking and stampede on themselves. Women for say them turn up and themselves. Yeah, and then wound. And now people picking them. These kids are kids that first of all were taken out of school and at age and the politics of Sierra Leone and in the politics of Africa to some extent. Is that every little opportunity you have to make something, when they pull picking in at school. That was school hours. That was school hours. Why make the picking them not in a classroom for land book? Why make una get for pull them a door for go give them? Is this part going to last them till the next cycle? Is this part going to last them for a year? Are these parts going to? So is it actually worth them? You know, much if now one scratch safe, one picking get. Is it worth them getting that one scratch? No. These distributions could have been done in the individual schools. Not to all time for make papi shop and something. I think that is my greatest problem with this whole thing. Is that this is something that could have been done in the individual school. You go to the individual, you get a list of the individual schools then. The one that went at all girls school, the one that went at boys or girls school, you go during the assembly time, right? You go during the assembly time, you're not taking them away from classes. You go during the assembly time or during the lunch break, that sacrifice can be made. You do what you have to do and then you skedaddle out of there without interrupting their classes. So now we don't get this thing. And then the first lady come make video say, then say the one old stadium don't capsize, all man don't die. Now stadium this way capsize, now stadium this way. But I mean, she caught herself in the middle because she wanted to go rancid. She was beginning to go rancid, and halfway through she caught herself in the middle and say, this is not a time for make and begin make months. People picking them really don't suffer now. So let us keep the focus on where the focus needs to be, and that's the safety of the kids. That is the well-being of the kids. But you see, sometimes, Madam First Lady, sometimes it is hard to defend you, even when you are defendable. Sometimes you make it hard to defend you, even when you are defendable. Me na here for just don't go there and say, oh, now this night happened, you know what? I have learned my lesson. We have learned our lesson from this, for say, the capacity, this, that, maybe we should have done this and other way. We're going to do everything we can to make sure these kids are taken care of, those that are in critical condition. You say, no, picking out they in critical condition. You are not a medical doctor. Neither do you have the expertise to call that out. Some of the intentionally, as a matter of fact, I get the video where I be one put where in the talk. But again, against my better judgment, I am choosing not to play that video because I'm now at the, sometimes you have to sit back and think about some of the wording, some of the language used, and because of some of the wordings and some of the language used in her video, I'm choosing not to show that video at this moment, and I'm choosing never to show that video as a matter of fact. Because at the end of the day, some of them picking their way, I see they gasp for breath. Yeah, and also to those who are going around touting that video, showing that video, shame on you. That picking them are in bra ide. Now in bra ide, almost naked. What kind of cheap propaganda, or what kind of message, or what kind of whatever do you want to send, or what kind of attention are you seeking? In order for show that picking day in video, that girl is gasping for life. She's gasping for air. She's gasping for breath. And you, Madam First Lady, you are in no position whatsoever to call out the criticality of things. Just say people were wounded. Whatever, we are doing our best to contain the situation. We're going to put everything in place to make sure no child comes out of this with any serious whatever. And say you are sorry. And to decombra them that you are with them. And you are standing in solidarity with them. Period. No need for begin to go this, da, 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 da. No. People don't have appetite for that anymore. And in a situation where it was your action, I don't care that you were celebrating International Week, the intent was good, but however, it was your action that put them in a position of harm, in a position of danger. You ought to recognize that and take full responsibility of that. Period. No questions asked. Anyways, I go to you.
You said a whole lot better than I'm probably able to say. Excuse me. I mean, they can. Get just a privilege conversation with some few and then I say PPO, SIDO, and few APC guidance, so they can talk. This year, they always don't plan for a long time. They plan for people to understand. Election is about 4 months away. We all know that it was First Lady B. So this was a strategic program then trying for work, for get the First Lady busy, for keep them away from social media, for trying for sell the good image. Right now, this is a strategy way to go on. They've been working on that for a long time, for make sure they begin do things now, for begin put them out there and keep them away from TikTok and all that, because according to what they understand, it's not just the peace, the opposition, but even their own supporters, they don't begin to get pissed off of in act. So it's got to find a better ground for outside MPC to be more productive and see how it could do well in terms of the elections, where election they come, for destroying that other image, which is a very good thing. It's something that one minute for a long, long time. Now, the first thing when I see the video, the first thing I see, I continue for say, I shake me and I say, all African politicians there. Every government will come over and over. Then they talk, say they'll make the beginning better, they'll make get no good productive youth in the world. But anytime they get campaign or anytime they go some side, the first picking they go out in the street and picking they go pull in school, they can't put in the street for coming in clap and match. Why they picking in a private school or in a host they tutor them. So the reality is now the culture. This is not very much care for the matter be administration or anything. It's a culture, just like what you see with African politicians and for the euphoria or for make their own pride them it will be bigger. I don't know what happens to African politician and crowd. So the easiest crowd they can get are picking them. Now we all know to this temper they don't tend to distribute them around. Where I see the video, the first thing we come to me and say, again, this now a problem back who they talk about the way we set the system for buildings in a Salone. A national stadium in the build not get people in the can for inspect them step by step. What they build Ostenaya, after every stage we don't do, a set of people in the can inspect them for make sure it pass a certain inspection before they go to the
building
next.
code. Yeah.
Why do you do that? Yes, for make sure it pass. And second thing, if the then happen, the stadium make any kind of people in the building stadium do any kind of yuki, if you put their life in danger, then go for either for pay a penalty in the long run. Who would they talk to them thing here? We don't talk because of we hate anybody. Because at the end of the day, they're picking with the injured. It can be anybody you're picking. They know they take consent from your parents for see while they picking can match for you. If you say you don't send the picking at school, you picking enough for go share up the insurance because the school they don't cause a president they come first they come for go share part. Whether you agree or not, what's that picking that uniform again for the other stadium there? So when things like this don't happen, what is the for do? First of all, take that politics aside, take all that name aside on both sides, because you get people in the can say, oh, they still don't know the number because they want to make the event look bad because of political reasons. They don't look at the danger, or they don't look at the beginning of your life for. Then several and then say for can fight for clear their own name. They don't pay attention to the beginning, can begin putting it on social media where it don't make sense. So this is also there's certain place where politics there. There's certain place where politics not there. What's happening on a cheap material? And then it come. You can even with national stadium, it come for it happen. We people and who will give them money. We all know say that culture is about corner. So leave your host and sell the bill. Where you go and go buy the cheapest material for can bill with. Nobody can inspect them. So as long as I inspect them, then see I get for happen. This tragedy don't happen. But when a law put that politics aside, law remember for them to care. So many talks about I see even the Minister of Education saying a put say when there's no fatality. In terms of the injury there, some people they die immediately. Some people they get for end up for die in the hospital. Some people they get for end up for discharge from the hospital, go in the house, they pain.
You don't know
And
if they hemorrhage. You don't know if they
that's the thing.
get brain injuries on site. You don't know if
So
they
many
get a
things happen.
fracture we're not detectable right now. So you can't just say such things. Nothing not happen to the Pekin. They are all good.
See,
There's no fatality. There's no. You are not a medical expert to say that.
with the let fatality not happen. That's not one thing because it happened. That Apple come but they not suffer. You're not gonna forget. They're not gonna compensate them. They're not gonna do nothing. So again, the only thing they ask now, do ya? May the administration make sure say every single picky way it happen to this, may a medical bill for be free.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we know say the parents are not even getting safe now also for it right now. Salone, just come on Salone, they tell you, team for it not there. Then tell them what happened. And the second thing is so disgusting, like we they talk. The medical officials, the way they're supposed to keep the identity of the people here, make sure say they keep the dignity of the patients there. Then say ambulance, they point camera for do proper show. They show them picture when they go through agony, the exposed one. And because we're not getting nothing for prevent medical officers from being exposed and here, somebody, excuse me, somebody in naked one last it. Let me keep find out say
That
people they say
person should have been
HIV.
either suspended or fired. That is an
It's not gonna
unethical
happen.
practice.
You
An
know, it's not gonna happen
unethical
because
practice.
what he do, it will support the administration. Because what he do, it don't do the administration in job for sure. Say, look, with it picking them, so then they take an action like positive. They're not going to do that. You see, so at the end of the day, we own job not for talk for individual, not for talk for the country. Because we have inside that stadium, in fact, the party the stronghold that one. This time, now you picking them. Now, woman and they vote for one. Now, woman they go for dance and activity for now. They picking in the wire. So nobody wish for nothing because at the end of the day, we are all Sierra Leoneans. We are all the same people. What then here happen? Do ya? Lord puts the party aside. Lord puts all this blame game aside. Lord puts all that. This is an accident will happen. It bound to happen because of the culture we get in the country. We said, they inspect things them. So what then here happen? Even those that inspect and say can happen. Yes, overseas it will happen. But what happen? What they do for us? The patient then force. All this propaganda Lord put aside, the patient name that they for come force. Lord will make sure we take care of them. When I say when I come back and say, oh, that stampede don't happen, this and that don't happen. Then it can happen any side, any time of the country. It no matter which particular party in the power, it can happen because the culture, that is same culture with all the political parties are across the board. It no matter what they only do the same thing. But at the end of the day, that poor kid, we're not getting nothing more for do politics. Now they suffer. Now they more for people focus. Never be focus force. So it's appalling. We culture, we get for begin change them. We culture really a mess. Because it's all surrounding around this propaganda on both sides, which is wrong. Because at the end of the day, we all know why make them go to another stadium. They may get choice for the schools, them. They know that them do all along. We know why make them do another stadium because of that image and one for can show. But it don't go back. Don't the first thing is even the first the inauguration back with the president's inauguration, the president, the first lady organized, similar to me happened there. Somebody lost life.
Yeah.
So we need to
And
begin
up till
put
now,
things
we
in
have not
place.
forgotten a report about that.
No, there's no report. Opposite that and family must suffer. So what we go for put in place to make sure students not they continue for happen. This is not the question we're going to do because it might be anybody picking tomorrow.
Exactly. So to me, I wish the picking them well. I wish them a speedy recovery. To the combra them when are them picking involved. I hope your first and last priority is the recovery of your child, your daughter, period. Anything else is secondary, it's nothing. To and to the first lady, I hope you've learned your lesson. Not to all time you for make aggrandizement. Bottom line, the buck stop with you. It was your event. You put them in that space. Something happened in the space you put them. You are accountable, period. There's no ends and but. Not to say the what even they try for do not to go. Yeah, the idea was good. The thought was good. However, the execution and the planning in executing failed. So I hope you too, you've learned your lesson and you will tweak and see what went wrong. How do I do this better? How do I do this in such a way that I do not endanger people, right? That's very important. So now with the freedom inside, we topic for today proper. Again, the phone lines are open. You are free to call in and make your contributions on any of these topics that we've discussed so far. I can play two videos then back to back. And the reason why I will play them two videos they are so back to back, I want you to see the beginning and where we are at now. And then me and CEO go take una into the middle with our various ideas and perceptions. Make we watch Dr. Dennis Bright in video leading to the convention of the NGC, which actually took place in December, earlier on in December of last year, 2022.
Very well. So it's very interesting that some people they go around, they talk, say, me and Dr. Kande Koleyi-Nkela, we know they see eye to eye. There's nothing further from the truth. That's a big lie. We're working together hand in hand, and I'll continue to work with him as far as this party concerned. So I try to put this out and make this clarification. My loyalty to the NGC will never change, and I will continue to enjoy the good working relationship with Dr. Kande Nkela for as long as it takes. So I say this because I want to let we all go now the convention with one mind. Forget the best convention we will not ever get in this country. And this pride, I will share with all the tens of thousands of people who don't decide for joining this party. I believe that the pride we will get in the party now Inge for be the engine we will carry go forward. I want to tell you thank you all the one that we don't contribute to the holding of this convention, and I pray and hope that we will get a very peaceful and memorable one. Thank you very much, and God bless you. United we stand united.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow NGCians. This is Najismet Fodima Misuma, una deputy chairman and leader of the great NGC party. I know say plenty of una across the country, now all the 132 constituencies across the nation, and all we hardworking and committed members then at the diaspora, una all get some concern una yagi about the resignation of our great chairman, Dr. Dennis Bright. Awale una know say the party leadership go meet soon. They discuss this issue also and they come up with an update for now. But one thing is clear. The golden principle will lead to the birth of the NGC party. We're based on country first ideology, the country first principle, where they put the interests of the people of Sierra Leone above all else. If they are alive and unshakable. Every decision our party leadership they make will be guided by the interest of the nation as a whole and the people of Sierra Leone in particular. Without much ado, this is Najismet Fodima Misuma, a deputy chairman and leader of the great NGC party. You touch one, you touch all. We will care for Salone, now we plenty. We will they suffer, now we plenty. This is Najismet Fodima Misuma, Lonta. Thank you. Una go hear from we soon. Bye-bye.
I played in two videos there so for a reason. The first reason is that this was the view, this not been the perception or the view of Dr. Dennis Bright going into the convention, again, which was held in December 2022. Now, the last video I play now been the then or elected national secretary. Okay, national secretary, we now not the deputy chairman because Dr. Dennis Bright don't resign from the party. They said, two truths can hold true. And bear in mind, most of them people there, so I don't interview them. Okay? Most of them people there, so I get in contact them that I could have chosen to bring one of them onto the show today to say, let's talk. From Dr. Kande Yunkela, take Kandom. Okay, I could personally contact them and say, let's talk, let's see what's going on. But I know that it is too early for me for even reach out to them and say, come to the table, let's talk, let's discuss, because they are still going through the turmoil. They are still trying to figure things out. They are still trying to see where things are going. And like I say, two things I hold true, and these are the two things I hold true. One, Dr. Dennis Bright was the administrative head of the NGC, whereas Kande Yunkela was the political head of the NGC, okay? And together they coexisted, then they bounce off ideas then together. Another thing that holds true is that since the inception of the NGC has struggled financially, okay? The numbers, they make the numbers them no waiting and call, yes, the diaspora and nada, then they call on the diaspora and campaign, but in a party, or in as much as it is seen or appears to look like the diaspora party, where maybe go make you think that, because the diaspora, or it appears that the diaspora are so much in alignment with the ideals of this party, that means for say they will be financially strong. That is not the case. Even going into their convention in December, it took a lot of galvanizing, a lot of resource pulling for them to finally have the convention that they had. And those are the two things I hold true. That nobody can sit down here and question me about that. Now let us come to the meat of the matter. Were there differences between the two leaders? Were there certain ideological or policy differences between the two leaders? I would say absolutely yes. I'll say absolutely. I don't need for the inside the party, for then at the meeting, for knowing they happen, for always whatever, whatever. For read the in between the lines, yeah. But the one thing I am also going to say here, when I don't see several times where they don't take Dr. Dennis Bright, where in a left it can go left na road. Not to accept them came back so. Now left it can go left na road. Then we end up for go left na road and they bap some, and put them first in a quiet corner for weekend. It has always been for a weekend or maybe close to a week. And Kande Yunkela has always stood by him. Dr. Kande Yunkela has always stood by him. I do not see for any reason, and this Namio explanation, and I'm coming from the analytical side of it. I do not see for any reason why Dr. Dennis Bright go to continuously put himself in a situation of that, knowing fully well that at least in Dr. Kande Yunkela are not 90% in alignment. Nobody ever able convince me of that. You have to have a greater alignment, a greater understanding, goals and objectives for continuously to subject yourself to them kind situations then be. Another thing that holds true is that in December, and now a lot of people will ask me, say, Matilda, why you not they read the resignations letter then? I not go read the resignation letter then. Because again, like I say, I'm a trained communicator. I they proofread like nobody's business. I they edit like nobody's business. I can read in between the lines and profile solution, change thing, whatever. The only person in resignation letter where I read, Alan Luke from London, right, the chairperson for UK and I, when I read a resignation letter, he walked me through in trend of thought and whatever and what brought him to this point. I read it. I would have chosen to pick certain points them from the different resignation letter. But also, I quickly get for notice say, Sierra Leone man, we are hasting to make decisions. And Nadande I see, Nadande I see from all the letters, then where I put them together, I looked at them, I see a haste decision. And where do I see a haste decision? In the language. When you read first the first paragraph, the second paragraph, they all are the same. He puts them smack down. Now the name they no more change, but the wordings are exactly the same. So which tells me that you are operating from the ideals and the ideas and perception of another person, that you are incapable of telling me why at this present moment you are making the decision you are making and why I should be convinced of the decision you're presenting to me. Fluidity of idea not been there. Now copy paste, spam, change the name, put a hand there, tweak and so, put and so, boom, we put them, we say we don't release statements. One thing I hold there and I hold for sure is that politics na process. Some then they say na the death of the NGC this. Do I believe me Matilda Wesidon Ayaso and come back and quote me wrong when it happens? That Matilda we've been telling you so and now you are wrong. Do I believe the NGC as a party? This is the death of the NGC? Absolutely not. I study political science. I know for say where we come to our own country, Salone, things happen differently. I am aware of that. Trust me. Don't think I'm talking from a place of naivete. I know that. I know you will be very quick to point me to the PMDC. I know you will do that. But even the PMDC as a political party, I believe it is still there. It is not as active, it is not as visible as they used to be. It didn't become that solid third force that the country at the time had hoped it would become. But they are still there. And for me, these are the processes towards democratization. For me, these are the processes towards democracy. Democracy is fluid. It's evergreen. It's ever evolving. And if we aspire to the ideals of democracy, we ought to give political parties their chance to go through their processes. And for me, what I see right now going on with the NGC, they are going through their processes. Would I be surprised that some of the people who've resigned would come back and join the party? I will not be surprised. Would I be surprised that some other people will leave the party and go form other alliances? I would not be surprised. Absolutely not. Before I can say proper na the kind of young own situation, people then go they talk and they say, hey Matilda, you they talk around all of this, but you have not gotten to the meat of the matter. The reason why I've not gotten to the meat of the matter because we are still in milk phases. All of our political party, including the oldest political party to exist in Sierra Leone, the SLPP and the APC, they are also still going through their processes. Remember the last election, some people did not actually want Madabio to be the head of to be the flag bearer. Neither did they want him the last time, neither did they want him the time before when he ran with, Madam Cisse. Okay, they went through that processes. They get several candidates, and it was from that processes we now have the power pass. We now have the SLPPs. We now have the Julius Madabio, whatever. We now have the Soja team. Remember, there are fractions within these institutions. Also with the APC, you have the old guards of the Anes by Koroma who believe in the, the Shaka Stevens, the ideal of the Shaka Stevens, the SI Kamagatello, and all these people, okay? And then you have the new formations, okay, the NRM, who believes in something else. And then in the NRM, even though they seem to be with I don't forget this guy name, the one we can always they take and go court. Even though they appear to be with him, there are also fractions within that, because there is a cut-out group from the Anesbaye Koroma fraction where they get the Sherikoko plot. Okay? There are fractions, several fractions within these institutions. So am I surprised that the NGC is also dealing with their own internal fractions? No. What emerged from this fraction is going to be interesting at the end. I still the talk cannot reach to the meat it. We still then at the milk. Because remember, I say our institution, regardless of how old they are still in milk phases. But before I continue my trend of thought and before I go into the formation of the co-op and how the NGCs filters into the co-op and could possibly be in coalition or in alignment with the APC, and how maybe the appearance of, Kande Yunkela at Tehum and all these things, how they all come into a formation and a melting of the pot, we would get there. Una trust me. The dance has just started. It is not over yet. But make a left and give CEO, because I know for say CEO go approach this from a very different angle than I am approaching this.
Extremely different from you. You know that already. All right. I mean, I'm glad the way you take her from that point, Steve. But me, they go take on a different direction for bringing them back for coming to say you stop. I mean, not to go too deep and then touch the Yumkela, so I just want to talk about how. So now we look at Dennis Bright. Who was Dennis Bright before? We all know Dennis Bright served at the SFP party, and I'm a strong member of the SFP. Dr. Yumkela was a strong member of the SFP.
I know one for cut you off when you said that. Forgive the people them just a little bit of a take. I know one for cut you off. Let us remember that these two players, these two guards, are all players in the game. One served at the NPRC regime under Strasser, by the person of Dr. Kande Kole Yunkela. The other one served under the late Ahmed Tijan Kaba, when at the person of Dr. Dennis Bright. Both of these people come from the same political institution, which is the SLPP. Both of these people have very solid roots within the SLPP. Both of these people left the SLPP for divergent reasons. Pick them up from there.
All right. So because you talk to the NGC is going through their own struggle, internal struggle, all this. But I think me want to take it for be different. And because I want to have opinion from that point to come in. The reason why make NGC was formed, because these guys were all SAPP. And we find out from day one, people that still get the belief NGC is the 2.0 of the SAPP, because the majority of people that when come on NGC, I mean them come out SAPP, they come from NGC and just gone to SAPP member them, what they don't mean like what SAPP they do. Like we just to talk about the Madabio wing and the one continuous people and the power, these are two different set of SAPPs. So the Yumkela, if you we look at before the election, if the nominee lock that office now, if the nominee lock the office from Yumkela, go send peace by Mama Odolenka and say the suspector, it would have been the NGC today. I for say no, that would have been never been the NGC, because in border no come and stay and for still final for being into the SAPP. Same thing similar to the APC and the Sansmana saga. So plenty people begin look at this, say there is a possibility, say when they come begin fix the problem, the NGC can go back to SAPP. Most of the people in the NGC say this will never happen. This is where this old saga they come meet. Okay, Dennis Bright come join Dr. Yumkela because of that belief. They say, okay, well, we are the breakout SAPP. Lord form we own and see how we will form the party. But one thing, the struggle the NGC may get, how they will become a mainstream party. We only look at them as a third. In fact, by the number, they were not even the third, they were the fourth party because the C4C didn't get more seats past them. So they were not even third, they were fourth. This is the party who benefits at that point, then for even for get chance to win the election. But after the elections, we find out see the number not show because the majority of the supporters then were diasporans, not the one on the ground. Now, most of like even last evening man in video, Mr. Zubaru, I laugh because that's you. I tell this program where I tell Mr. Zubaru this program say Dr. Yumkela is weighing his option. When they get closer to election, you get for sitting there way. No one they see, no one they elect. Some of the supporters they where they highlight right now. They got for begin weigh the options in because just like what Dr. Yumkela say, running the political party is not a joke. That money where they talk about too. You get for retire, you get for live on UT life. That money they go inside 2 days if you say you are one political party. Then when they say they ask for pool money, the money not come than they expect. Now we don't find out say you don't want a parliament. And some of whom talk say, "Long we say I go run a parliament in the next 4 or 5 years, we go know who the Yumkela is, or that it's my Yumkela, or if you're able to adapt to the Salone system, we find out say enable adapt to that system of parliament. The way it means the parliament is going to run, it not run. Now you bring the Dr. Desbright in your side. How then the Bobo Sam, because the mantra of the party then say they want for can be the different sets wherein they believe in democracy, freedom of speech and expression, and all in here. This SAP party, they bully them. Then it's why they go lock them all the time. So what we see what happen here is that when Dr. Yumkela they hang out with the president and they go out and they get the meetings and that. But every time Dr. Dennis White says something for see or hang on the other side and they go back some of the go lock them up. They release some back. But you not remember when the boss, you hang out to the enemy of the next camp. So this is the point where I feel say the marriage begin, communication and the marriage begin to break out. Plenty SFP, NGC supporters, and from that point, you don't tell them, you don't begin to get that suspect say, this is just another for go nowhere. The NGC not going to withstand the pressure. But who may not begin to accommodate. So the faith may not begin to wilter. You will find out say, the password may not be going to be another. So might not be the giveaway option. Do I need to go back or do I need to stay? The leadership will continue to give them hope, say, no, okay, we will wilter this storm. We go to do it. But now we say this wheel they don't come out. We say the wheel they don't come off the track. This the main person Omar they look up to was Dr. Yumkela. The question Omar they ask is Yumkela NGC or NGC will stand without Yumkela? This was the question because let's look at now. If Dr. Yumkela left NGC, is that going to be an NGC? Like or the other parties then. So plenty of the APC, SAP, this is what they were looking at. Say we know say the day Yumkela left NGC, there's not going to be a party. So they tell us say NGC is not a party, it's a movement. Because now one person they follow, one of the disciples, they're not political party members. So this was where they try to put them into test. The moment where Yumkela Governor say, okay, well, England consider for talk to the president and see I go with the president because they don't look at in your own time say, I only get 10 years for doing to politics. Before the marriage, I just go sleep, I don't wake 5 years, I don't go. I look at the NGC will not get money right now. Is this therefore be a sustainable marriage between me and the real them? Or maybe say go look up and say because the Salone first all they talk about, so it's all about money, it's all about power, it's all about control. This is all this where the Salone first come from. Because now we look at when after the elections, then we get an option. Not today, President Biro making the call, Dr. Yumkela say come home, take go you don't call the column. But 4 months to election, when you make this move, say okay, now I think say I think say that's okay. Probably talk loud, listen now small. You know, there's so many eyebrows. With the recognition. Yeah,
okay, okay. I will make you finish your thoughts and then I'll go jump in.
Okay, so the point now we talk about now, so if Dennis Bright don't resign, Dr. Yumkela don't resign, Pierce don't resign. Now Dr. Yumkela start, then they pay most of the money for running the party. This is where me on career can say there's not going to be an
Yumkela has not resigned though. He has not resigned.
Now the tape where he talk say I don't hand the party over to Una and I get the decision now.
No. That's what you see that in a clear talk. Right? If una no okay. Finish your thought and I'll come to as to where that sentence
on the tape talk say Una is me they can't retire. I only get 10 years, I don't do 5 years, a party get 5 more years. If Yumkela, he wasn't even the chairperson of that party. Then if you end up going with the president, you will understand if there's a possibility the president will get in position in the next administration if they win the election, that is not going to be that Yumkela and not going to get that same person to look at anymore as the top leader of the NGC no more. The people that we go left, we talk about the Jasmine Suma, the other few people, the TO them and everybody else. Do they have that kind of money and wait for run the NGC party? I'll say absolutely not. Because plenty of people put their money because of the people that are at the top. If people know they hate my face money at that party, that money not going to come out anymore. So that means people to the NGC, if then two people they only resign, if Dr. Yumkela is for work with President BO, he end up for pick up any position closer to BO, NGC is done. Over to you.
Okay. So now I'm glad the way you talk say not to today the president is trying to pull Dr. Yumkela to his side. Since he won the election, since the one where they make him president, he done the Konani to Yumkela. Say, yo, we are brothers. Okay, more left this, more forget about what happened. Can't join, make we can work together. But Yumkela has been very solid in his reserve, not to formally work with him, meaning that taking on formal position. Now, what is interesting where some people and they forget here is that the NGC as the NGC, Yumkela is the NGC. Because it was the KKY movement that metamorphosized, that transformed into the NGC. Make we not forget that too. I mean, it's very, very important. KKY had a movement by himself. In 2017 or 20, he had a movement like he was galvanizing. He had a movement by himself. Now that movement now transformed to the NGC. Now now that make a lot of people and they say without KKY the NGC can't stand. But then my challenge to those people is that is KKY the only reason? Is the person the only reason why you bring yourself Canada party? Or was there something more? Was there a higher call? Because if na KKY na the mortal man, na no more bring you Canada party, then there is something fantastically twisted with our minds. But if it is the movement, if it is the ideals of what the party, the organization stands for, void of KKY, now I bring you Canada party, then me analogy still stand for say, absolutely, the party be what it may become or look like it's going to stand.
But the point now is, let me just come 1 second. The point is the reason why the KKY movement was formed is because of the belief that the APC and the NGC, SAPP are corrupt parties and they are bad, they form bad leadership. Now, if you the KKY, that's why the movement was formed, because they believe say we want something new. But if you don't say you go back now for go join the SAPP or work with the SAPP, the same people where you and we don't say where you go, you influence them for change the SAPP. That's don't tell we say you don't go against what you may believe. You don't go against the movement.
I get that, and I'm coming there, right? I'm coming there.
Yes.
So basically, I don't lay one analogy down. The second analogy is that what is true is that now no for say them get a co-op. The co-op now a formation of different parties them we come together. We say at least the aim and objective of the co-op was to arrive at a place where they form a coalition. How done they go, how done they not go, I can tell you that the co-op, the idea was right, but individual arrogance, and I know it's how they talk when it comes on this one. Trust me, people, individual arrogance preceded their noses. Individual arrogance preceded their noses. And because individual arrogance preceded their noses, right after the signing of the MOU, because they actually go right up to an MOU, outside things begin for Bade, now the nitty-gritty now. Now they the arrogance, now they the selfishness, now they the greed come inside. The nitty-gritty now, let us sit down now and draw a policy, draw something that we all can agree on, we all can pen our signatures to. As a matter of fact, right even before the MOU was signed, some of them did not begin pull out. I don't go call name because I know them. Because their objectives are not being fully aligned together. This person saying that this way for be done, that person saying that this way for be done, this, that. What I also hold true, you know, this with Salone, we get for be careful how they do them in the hassle. And when true fine for talk, make we talk. What I also hold true is that during the time when the APC been in power, Yunkela always spoke to Anes. Always worked on projects, international projects, them for benefit Salone with Anes. I am not speaking of what Yunkela is saying. I am saying what I can authentically confirm, given my position and work that I do. But however, because I am tied to loyalty, confidentiality, and professionalism, code of conduct, I cannot come out and say. Just like I can also say yes, where they talk, say it don't they work with Anes and it don't they talk with Anes, I can also say that is also true. Waiting me sense, I sense a man who is highly frustrated. I hear the sound of a man who actually is up to his hair, is up to his neck. I sense a man who did not realize how much of a burden he was going to be made to carry. I sense a man who, because you know, honk parliament, like what you say, that wait man business overcloud in judgment small. When this whole thing happened, there is a question I asked to a very, very high level NGC. Where I say, okay, you people, I know about you guys thinking about coalition, and I'm saying this is something I've known for over 2 years. And I'm going to come out and say it for free. I've known this for over 2 years. That the NGC as a party, they were looking at two options. They were looking at a coalition or they were looking at a strategic alliance. Now, even before I go forward, I want to tell you now, because me, I like to define things there. Make the CEO, please, I beg, show we waiting a coalition. Technical
coalition
support.
is about join together. Coalition is about joining forces with other people.
Wait, as I mean with people and talk say I talk big English, I don't know what I talk about. So here it is here. A body formed by now okay, make I read them now. So okay, a body formed by a coalition of ordinarily distinct elements combination. It says now they can't read the subsection 2 definition. A temporary alliance of distinct parties, persons, or states for joint action. For joint action. Now then they na the co-op. The co-op, a temporary alliance of either parties, distinct parties, so different political parties, them in this case we can together, different persons, them in this case we can together, right? This is not the state, we leave the states here, but for joint action. And then the coalition. Now, I want to tell you now, waiting a strategy. Okay, I want to tell you now, waiting a strategy. A strategy, what we did now, so now required for the no, I don't want that definition. I'll take definition number 2A, necessary to or important in the initiation, conduct, or completion of a strategy. I want to show now what alliance mean. Alliance. Again, I go take I go take 1, 2. Definition 1, subsection 2, which is B. A bond or connection between families, states, parties, or individuals. Now, in here, we are looking at parties or possibly individuals. So, me problem with this is, if me were not then at the NGC, for 2 years I have known that this is what the leadership has been working towards. These are the two ideas that they've been playing with, either a strategic alliance or a coalition. They're not defined who that then go play. Then they inside the co-op, they are doing whatever with the co-op there, and then whilst they're thinking about their strategic alliance. And also the reason we make I choose also not for pay attention to all these mass resignations and whatever. Sometimes the resignation were a little bit whatever. Now Alan Luke in one because it was there since the inception. Then it's Bright, of course, since the inception. But this is where what happens when two opposing ideas collide. What I know for true and what I hold dear for sure is that all of these people at the December 2022 convention in agreement unanimously decided that they as a party coming for this election 2023 then don't decide, say, as a matter of fact, they are not going to pay attention to a coalition anymore. They are going to pay attention to a strategic alliance.
Okay.
Any NGC person there, so where been done at that convention in December, maybe they can't tell me, say, Matilda, the lie. Unu all the top, unu all vote for this, say, this line unu wants. So it is rather disingenuous for me when some man they can I don't know and they make like for saying at that Saturday next meeting, the National Electoral Commission or committee meeting for the strategic alliance. It wasn't any other meeting that was happening on that day. It was the National Electoral Committee for the Strategic Alliance meeting. Now I've been they get. When certain questions were asked. Okay. So for some of una, they can't come out and I don't know how they can make like for say this thing is so foreign to una, this thing is so new to una. I think it's rather disingenuous.
Well,
now
let me ask a simple question
for una leader Kande Kole Yunkela, okay, he was off on a lot of things, and I will come to that. He was definitely off, and that is why I say all of us are human. I sense a man that is highly frustrated. I sense a man that has had it up to his ears. Okay? The truth and what I hold dear and what I know for sure is that his wife wanted him to retire to get away and forget about this political stuff. God rest her soul. His daughter Binta doesn't want anything, like she is tired. She doesn't want her dad to continue being part of politics. She's like that. That I know for sure. So here is a man whose wife, you know, who was going through a lot, God rest her soul, who came to a point where she's like, but this thing, you know what I'm anymore. And here is a daughter, the only DNA between them that is left, that is saying, Papa, this thing, I don't think it what I'm anymore. These, granted, are his personal stuff. And therefore, sometimes personal pressure can filter into your other lives, right? But the one thing where I go say for sure, and I think a lot of people rush to interpretation, and what he made very clear at the end was, I not make me decision it. When I make me decision, una all go know. But there is one thing that I am going to say to you people. If when I make me decision, if una agree like how we agree and una one come and we all work out together and we all do things together, that is fine. If una not agree with the decision where I take, that is fine. And I think there should be tolerance for that as well. Meanwhile, I understand the disappointment. First, I don't understand the disappointment of the local person who maybe may have put all their trust on this man and think that this man is, you know, their savior, you know, and this man is going to definitely pull them out of that rat and is going to shift things so much.
So that's what he saw today. That's the thing, though.
When this thing happened, I ask an NGC at a very top brass. I say, you know what? I'm like, Kande Kole Yunkela in parliament, I'm like, maybe if given the space, he would have been a formidable parliamentarian. I'm like, but here's what I can tell you for sure. I'm like, as a parliamentarian, he has not been able to form coalitions and form alliances to effect change. I'm like, because he has not been able to form those coalition and alliances that people can visibly say this, it happened because of Kande Konle Yunkela. I'm like, how do you expect people to believe that he will shift the needle? Even though the narrative now, we need for unite the nation, we need for unite the nation, we need to do whatever it takes to unite the nation. What makes you feel that he will be able to shift the needle? Either way, whatever una choose for decide, whether una choose for go with the current regime or una choose for go with the APC. And I say this because they have not come forward to say exactly who they are going to align with. They have not said that. People have their aspersions, people have their suspicions, but they have not said that, right? What makes you think that he will actually have so much influence, have so much say on the table that he will be able to move that needle, not in parliament, but within a governing institution? That was the question I asked them. I go make you talk because me don't they talk for long.
Yeah, but what you try for Sina is that a leadership of a party is just like a president. Another member will make a mistake or come show frustration. People they impact too many lives. When you say I want to become a leader, you got to know say your decision is not only your decision. Your frustration is not only your frustration. Every word you say, just like when they talk about the bank governor waking misfire sometimes. The least misfire when you misfire, you don't affect so many people in their lives and their hopes. Waiting he was a very good old car salesman. He can't sell to the NGC supporter and say, I'm your savior. With me, we will change Salone. Now it can, but people not see him. Plenty NGC people begin forward, but they still hang around because they may believe say there's a hope somewhere. Now, whatever the frustration, like what they talk, say, if you have select left politics, everything, this was a decision it will make with empathy. Sit down and say, okay, listen, I can't do this no more. I don't lost my wife, me picking them, I want to resign. If you just resign without having any business with the president, that would have been a different issue. But you trying to say, I'll have to work with the president because I want to do this, it's like a betrayal to the party because of what you don't sell to the party. This now the problem they come out with implementing the agency people and way they don't cause a fracas. They come in and say we all know say
did not say wait. Words for me, words are very important at this particular time. He said, I will continue to talk with the president. He did not say I'll continue to work with the president. He said I'll talk with the president.
I'll talk with the president, I'll work with him, wherever it takes. Let me say, like what I say, he work with first of all, we know the country we there. Now we know say right now, because of some of the things that we insect me don't say, make people look at this administration differently. Because it really paints the picture, say they are not to be trusted. Yeah, they are corrupt. So if you tell the people and say these people are not to be trusted, but turn around now say, well, I will continue to talk with them, work with them. People are going to ask the question: in what capacity are you working with them?
Yes.
Why we don't know the detail of what's in the going with you and because not so that they hang out now, we know that they go up and down, we know that the manifest for bringing you in. Who said you are left way to go? Now you tell me say you want to retire. So these are questions. The communication is very, very important. Now the main point when they told us 1 and 2 when I end Dennis Bright. Now 2 the main top man in this phase. We soon 2 to go apart now different direction. That man they resign. They say we need to come together. Your audio will come out not clear because even the Nyamakoro and everybody else they get different. The top leadership of that party they Oman they count you now. They come say they not trust you anymore. This is the problem here. So even if you frustrate for that frustration, they enough don't come out. See for they get in frustration. Madam Floyd, Madam Cole gets in frustration. Other parties get in frustration. But people look at the NGC was supposed to be the third link that was being closer for can split the two parties here. So if you they say okay, well, no, because again, when we talk about the COP now, you know, say from day one, maybe not talk say, I not see the NGC go fit into the COP. because the philosophy of MGC is more closer to SLPP than APC, than the clear. And so when we talk about Mimi no say, and secondly, Mimi no say the APC can be greedy because then they get a chance to win the election without this other small party. So they don't go to give them better. So Mimi no say that go for happen. Okay, so we get to call. I'm not allowed to call because it's not getting on it.
Okay, yes. Caller, please go ahead. Hello,
thank you so much. Thank you to all the panel team. The issue of the NGC, some of we don't analyze that for a very long time in a concerned Sierra Leonean from Australia, and that third political party not to survive. The best chance we Sierra Leone be ever get, we come very close for political party for get the seat of government was the first democratic election where we began PDP and UNPP of Karfasmat and Temu Bangura of the PDP. That was the closest time Sierra Leonean third party don't ever come for get the seat of governance for demolish the APC and the SLPP. Hence, that chance be don't lost. That chance not go ever come again in this democratic dispensation where APC and SLPP don't fortify them political party. And I want to remind Sierra Leoneans, SLPP and APC, those are institutions. Regardless, Mada Biode and Escoromano Day, they still function and carry on effectively as a political party, unlike the third political parties them where they come. We don't see that in PNDC. C4C. They are all going to be diminished. They're going naturally. They get a natural death. Whether you agree or disagree, those political party follows individuals. They are not institutions. So that's why they can't survive, and they will never survive. Even if you come, you say one bill as an institution, it's very difficult for them to survive where SLPP and APC don't fortify their defense force in this kind of way in Sierra Leone democracy. It's very, very difficult. So for me, let me take the decision. I mean, not say, if it come and make a formal resignation, I believe say it will make a statement to which other political party it will make an alliance with for explain the reasons as to why it formed the alliance. It not go just say I resign, I don't ally with SLPP or APC. It will come up with an explanation. What are the reasons why it's here and say I for find an alliance with SLPP or APC? Let's wait and see. He will come with an explanation. That I can show every Sierra Leonean. He will come with an explanation. He will cannot just say, well, I don't form alliance with SLPP. No, he will come out and spoke openly. He will take the mic and spoke openly. If he say alliance with APC, he will come out and explain clearly why these are the reasons, So Uda wants by the reason, Uda not wants by the reason. Let me remind Sierra Leoneans, in politics, there is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. As always, my advice to Sierra Leoneans. Be aware, don't kill yourself for politicians. Don't insult each other for politicians. This is another example. Thank you.
Thank you very much, scholar. This scholar, in fact, he don't round the show self for me. He don't round the show for me. But remember, I tell Una say, this he not done it. He not done it. Just like the airport, and just like them 5,000 hosts there, where I say the Casada leave there, the rest they will get for come back with the car eat back. The bomber not done it. It's still there. But we don't spend a lot of time. I want to make Yogi in closing thoughts on this for now. Remember, it's not over yet. For now, and then myself will give me closing thoughts on this.
Well, for now, maybe they say the NGC don't like support. They don't like support because I believe say the only way Dr. Yum Kelage for Siemens in legacy, if he say in best chance right now for work with President Bio for which I believe President Bio get a chance for win the next election. And if he say for work with him in whatever capacity, so he will fulfill his own dream and go slowly in retirement as a wilderness. So when that happens, me feel see the NGC is gone. So at this point, me feel see the drama not started. You get more drama they come, and all man go for finding your hold. So anybody know say he wanted the NGC, make you look for a barrier. So but that's what I think. But what people they talk all along now they don't cancel. When they get closer to elections, they say they hear McCoy for sure. They hear McCoy not begin to show out. So that's what it is. So thank you very much for getting me on your show tonight.
Okay, so thank you very much, CEO. In my closing, here is what I have to say. I still maintain, say, in as much as what is it, we are what 62 now of independence or whatever. When it comes to we political institution, them I still believe say they are still going through their processes to really solidify a true identity of who they are. I still also believe say NGC as a political party, then serve as the milk, as the baby within then self they go through them political processes. I want to take a minute for address the situation with Dr. Kande Kole right now. Ines empathize with the situation where he find himself. I also get 2-3 things then for say. The first thing where I get for say is that you were this person that came on with Alassane and Alusine. And you really, really took your time. You really take your time for demonstrate, for show to the people then how Alassane and Alusine really now a detriment to the enhancement, the development, the forging ahead of Sierra Leone as a nation. And then you came in as a person or as a representation of Beshe. Now, people then go say why I use the word Beshe. I use a female name as far as I'm concerned. Beshe is a female name. I use the word Beshe because women have this way of bringing together, of resonating, of galvanizing, of putting the broken pieces back together, of patchworking. So people then see you as that Beshe, the way they really saw Beshe in you. They really saw the female identity in you. In that they saw you as this person that they can count on for do the patchwork, for be the carpenter, for bring the broken glass and glue them back together. If even it is not, even if it is not whole like this glass, right? But at least you go patch them in such a way that when the glue begin take shape, people then go forget say this glass now be a broken glass. I think the backlash where you see from people them in waiting happen for be an internal conversation where leak are the frustration, the disappointment where you see from people them is that for some people the hope of a Beshe died in that very moment when they heard you speak. For some people, it no matter the turbulences where them in the year they go on within the NGC party, it no matter the kuskas, the boss, the smoke where them in the smell, they still believe that Beshe could do it all. Okay, then don't tell me say Beshe could also be a male or female in the sibling born after a twin.
Yeah.
And I think I am right within it. Me not be even know this definition, but with my closing, I think I am right within my thoughts. Because you said Alassane and Alusine, they are the twins. And so Beshe, the third one, exactly, the one that comes after the twin, after Alassane and Alusine, was to make sure that then twin and they, no matter how much, you know how twin then thick as thieves, you know, when they don't gang up by you done. But the third first sometimes have a way of making sure that their thickness is not always solid. So therefore, for a lot of people in that moment, and I shall say as the days goes by and people then they reflect, maybe then go begin for see them in a different way or what have you. But in that moment, the dream, the only dream that some people heard died. in the moment they had that video. It died. I know people who have not slept for days, who are calling me saying, Matilda, what's going on? Matilda, what's happening? Matilda, Matilda, Matilda. And I'm saying to them, the exact word I am saying right here now is that every political institution, every democracy, every institution, therefore go through them processes. And in this time, at this time, me strongly believe, say, the NGC as a political party, that's including Dr. Dennis Bright as a former head, including KKY as a continuous head for right now as it stands, they are all going through their processes. In your frustration, you said certain things that it doesn't matter. As a leader, you will take a lot. The fitiai go boku, the back talk go boku, the questionings go boku, but that's what you agree to take on when you agree to become a leader of something. For me personally, like I said, I heard a man that was highly frustrated, that it don't bottle up, it don't bottle up, it don't bottle up, it don't bottle up. And when it happened in that moment, it happened so sudden, and he said certain things that people are like, oh, can he speak like this? Is he allowed to speak like this? But that's what makes him human though. If people, them, no matter if now $1 they ever contribute to NGC, there is a form of accountability that is owed them for that $1. It no matter if now 1 penny they ever contribute to NGC, there is a form of accountability and acknowledgement that is owed them for that 1 penny. So in your frustration and in you saying because of your $100, so therefore you feel to say you can't fit here, or you feel to say you can't this, or you feel to say you can't that. Yes, it comes with the position. Unfortunately, we live in a society where there are lots of millennials, not unlike yesterday, today, yanda, where the small one then go, omojuba to the big one then, and say now we big one then. We live in a time when everything is questioned. We live in a time when respect is not always granted to whom respect is due. And so if you choose to be in this space, just know that these are things that you will constantly encounter within this space. Okay, and then my other question to you is that in going into an alignment, strategic alliance, either with the APC or either with the SLPP or whatever your decision as a party results to at the end, I hope you put a clause in there that says the president cannot fire your people at will. Because remember, a precedent has been set that says the president can hire and fire at will. And we have seen it. It no matter if not an elected position, it no matter if not like you've seen in the case of parliament and how that was conformful, it no matter if not a nominated or an appointed position, it no, we don't see them, it no matter if not a position of tenure, which is like the case of the Auditor General, a position of tenure. So in dotting your I's and crossing your T's, if you choose to be, if as a political party, you people choose to be within that space, when drawing out your policies, when drawing out your understanding, when coming to the table and sitting with whoever party you chose to sit with, for the sake of the Sierra Leonean people, some of who still are hanging in there with you, please make sure you do right by them. That when you have your representation seated at the table, that after 2-3 months, the president no go don't come and say, I have fulfilled my part of my obligation. You were hired. And so now, therefore, you have been fired.
Yes.
Remember, I am not, in this particular instant, I speak to you as a Sierra Leonean. I speak to you as somebody who loves my country. I speak to you as somebody who wants to see my country advance. But also I speak to you in the personhood of my profession. That gives me strategic positioning in languaging and tailoring of languaging and certain agreements. So please, whatever you do, for the sake of the people who are still hanging in there with you, who are saying that I will ride this wave with you till the end, when you get to that junction, please ensure that there are strategic clauses within your agreement that protects and safeguard your representations in whatever way you so chooses them to be. Me fumble them. Now this are the left una with this net. May God bless we all. May God take care of we all. The land that we love, we will continue to speak, we will continue to advise as much as we can. And like I said, this is not over. This is something that we will revisit. And even before I close, I want to say something. I have never, other than an interview like this, I have never been in the presence of Dr. Kande Kola-Yunkela, one-on-one in person, live in flesh. But there are some rumors that I would like to espouse. I am not advocating for him. For some people who think or who are saying that, oh, Uda no go want for be part of a presidential delegation, Uda no go want for Sidom na presidential plane, I can assure you, he's been there, he's done that. That's not his objective. Please, let us think straight. Let us ration properly. For some people, we say it's an insecurity, then for go beat woman na washroom. Abo. Is that how low we go now? When you see the person, does it look like a thug? Does it look like the person who would ever dare make that even cross in mind and in space allow that to happen? We ought to know better, and we ought to do better. May God bless we all.
Most countries in Africa have been struggling to maintain long-serving electricity services, but over the years, most of those countries have failed, and as a result, many other sectors like health, business, education have been negatively impacted. To help salvage this problem for life is why the Central University, One Silicon Hills, Mile 91, Tonkolili District in Sierra Leone has decided to establish a renewable energy department to help train and equip young minds to create a lasting solution to not just Sierra Leone's energy supply problem, but the entire Africa and the world at large.
We believe that as a department we will help in setting the way for Sierra Leone and other countries in the African continent to advance their renewable energy systems. We also believe in practical as well as theory. With the two, we know we can build strong minds to help countries within the African continent benefit from their natural resources like the sun, wind, hydro, biomass, geothermal, and many other sources.
For potential students to understand and respond to this continental problem, the university has established solar farms backed up with strong power systems to help students realize their skills. Trained and qualified staff are all on the standby to guide potential students.
What we'll be doing here will be different from what is practiced in other places, because here we focus on training our students not just to understand ideas related to the course, but will help them set the pace in creating solutions to renewable energy problems in their communities, countries and beyond. Also, with the guidance of our well-trained staff, we are sure that we'll be able to help our students apply these practical solutions in shaping the renewable energy sector.
Be part of the renewable energy family at the Central University, and together, let's join in the fight to respond and repurpose our national and continental energy system to become resource efficient from natural resources for decades to come.
If we can't